Welcome back to another edition of Ask Ron, where Ron answers your questions, your Gold Club members' questions each and every week. My name is Jesse, and I have Ron here ready to answer your questions.
Ready to go. Looking out my window and it's pouring down rain.
It is. We've got a nor'easter ruining anyone's beach plans this weekend. All right. First up, we've got Tony and Angie Stewart from Ohio. Their question: if a property has two active mortgages, the seller is in Chapter 13 bankruptcy, and they're open to terms, how would you secure that deal?
Tony and Angie, I'm not sure on that one because that might involve getting your attorney involved. Because in Chapter 13, that's a reorganization. And that means that those payments from that seller are in that pile, and they're going to have to be redone. In other words, they can force the lender to lower the payments. That doesn't wipe out the debt. A lot of people think that when you're in bankruptcy, it wipes out the debt. It does not wipe out the debt. It only wipes out your obligation to pay the debt. So even in bankruptcy, those mortgages are going to stay on that property and they have to be dealt with. So I'm not sure you can take over that loan if she's already in it. You're going to have to check with your local attorney on that one. I can't answer that. I don't know for sure what it would be. And plus, it might change state to state. Go ahead.
Next up, we have John in New Jersey. His question: I know the form to use for the end buyer is called an assignment contract, but what is the form called to put the house under contract with the seller?
Standard purchase and sale agreement. Same one that's on the Gold Club site and pretty much in everything that I've published that deals with that subject. It's the exact same agreement. All you're doing is buying a house for cash. That's what the agreement says. And it's, same agreement. It's the only agreement you're ever going to need to buy a house, no matter what, whether it's terms or whether it's all cash.
All right. Next up, we have Evan Rogers in North Carolina. This is in reference to an event you did on the 25th. He says, what did you mean in your script you shared during the 3-hour Zoom on Thursday, September 25th? Income on top of the sales price. I believe you said sales price. And this question is how it would benefit him to get you more time when there was nothing discussed about the interest rate yet.
Do you have any idea what that means? I don't really understand the question.
I think we might want to resubmit that one. I'll reach out to Evan.
I don't even know what he's referring to. I guess he's thinking about buying it with owner financing from the seller. And if it's free and clear, remember they get those payments in addition to the end payoff when you pay them off. So they get income in addition to the amount that they would normally get when they cashed out. So I don't know if that's really what he's talking about or not. Yeah, resubmit it in English. Okay. Read it and pretend you're this person who's supposed to answer it and make it very, very clear. What you guys got to learn to do, period. Not only in your writing, but in your conversations. And when you send something to an attorney, like your purchase and sale agreement, you got to make sure that it's clear, easy for him or her to understand. And because we all have this habit of writing this stuff down while our brain is going and forgetting that the other person's brain is not going, and they have to know clearly what the meaning of this thing is. And so I might want to make a note on this one. Whenever you're writing a default, what a definition of default is in anything, you got to also put in there what the remedy for that default is. If because the remedy is still up for debate. I mean, but if it's in the agreement at the beginning, then you'll know what it is. Most contracts have that in it, but I noticed that when we put clauses in there, like we put in there, I always try to put that remedy right in there, and that way he can get it into the agreements, and there's nothing to argue about later. I don't know if you understand what I just said or not, but it sounds good. Okay, what's the next question?
Brian Lucy in Colorado.
Right, Brian.
He said, so when you have a situation where in 5 years, if you can't pay them off
Mhm.
and they won't extend it, could
Mhm.
you just tell them, hey, that all your payments have been made and the house is still in great condition. Are you sure you want to take the house back or do you want to extend it?
What was the question there? You got the two remedies there. I don't see the question.
Let's see. He said, he goes on to say, could you also tell them in that same situation, when they ask you how long will it take to pay off? I'll do it as soon as I can, but I can't make any promises on the time
That's
frame.
that's the correct answer.
There you go. Brian
Don't,
answered his own question.
okay. Don't give them a term. I mean, you got a term. If you agreed on a 5-year balloon, for example, the term's already in there. So you don't make them, I think I can get it paid off in a year. No, 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 no. Don't make promises you know that you can't keep. And I know that that's a little scary to think about saying that, but I'm telling you, it's a whole lot less scary than having an argument with them later and maybe even a law. I don't know what they could do for a lawsuit, but I always try to fix any problem that's going to arise in the future right on the front end going in. And what causes a lot of these problems is just folks opening their mouth and making promises they can't keep just to get the seller to say yes. Okay. I want to get it all out in the open. I want to get all the elephants out of the room up front, and we don't have those problems on the back end. And if it kills the deal, it kills the deal. Go on to the next one. We still got to get it straight. And I know that's kind of hard for some people to do because they're afraid the sellers are going to back out of the deal or whatever. I don't care. If they're going to back out, let them back out. I'll just move on. There's always another deal right behind it.
And our last question of this week is from Jacob. He had some questions last week, so he says, thanks for your answers to my questions last week. He had some other parts of it that he wanted to ask.
You
He said, do you find that sometimes it's hard to find tenant buyers during the school year?
No. The school year is 9 months out of the year for crying out loud. No, it's not hard to find tenant buyers at any time during the year. Some people think it's hard to find them at Christmas time. Even that's not true. I mean, you just don't know what's going to influence the market to act or not act. And frankly, we're just not that smart. So you all decide today, what does it cost? It don't cost anything to advertise. Why wouldn't you want to constantly advertise when it doesn't cost anything? It's all on the internet for crying out loud. And when you're looking for tenant buyers, you got the advantage because you got a big chunk of the market to yourself, while the realtors and the builders are fighting over the rest of them. And just remember, the worse the market gets, the easier your business should get because the harder it is for seller to sell their house and the harder it is for buyers to go to the bank and get a loan. And here you are in the middle, scooping up all those goodies from all those folks that need your help. And I'm telling you, you guys got to get that in your head, man. When the market is changing right now, prices are dropping, and it's time for us to run toward the chaos, not away from the chaos. The money's made in the chaos. Fortunes were made after 2008 from the people who were ready to run at it and scoop up the deals. It's the same thing in the stock market for crying out loud, okay? The time to buy stock is when they're way, way, way down. All right? And pretty soon they're going to go way, way, way back up. In fact, just the other day, I was preparing for the upcoming boot camp and I pulled some stuff off the web. One thing I wanted to know is what was the interest rate in 1982 when I started? What was the prime rate? And I looked it up, and I'll be darned, it was exactly what I was saying, 16.8%. And the highest was at 18% for a short time. And then I got a chart from there all the way down to today, and it was high like that for years and years and years and years and years. You think you've got it bad today, and trust me, it can get a whole lot worse. And things always change. And then I got another one where I pulled the median price of houses back in 1985, I think. And then I went over a 10-year cycle, 95, 2005, 2015, and 2025. Every single decade, the house prices went up, 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 up. There isn't a decade where they plummeted. They didn't come right back up shortly after. So everybody's so worried about the houses losing value. What do you care if you're not ready to sell it and cash out of it? You put a tenant buyer in the house, you're not cashing out of it. You wholesale a house, you're cashing out of it, but somebody else is going to pay cash, and so they can make money on that particular deal. So quit worrying about all the stuff you read about. Just please understand, people are always going to have to sell. and other people are always going to have to buy, and it's never going to stop. In 1985, when it was 16.8%, we were selling houses. It's hard to believe how with with that interest rate. Well, a lot of it was because we started learning about seller financing right about that time, and realtors were going out of business. They just couldn't get any listings, so somehow we just kept on selling them. We have to adjust with the market, though, just like we're doing today. We have to adjust with the market. And all of these what ifs, what ifs, what ifs, what ifs, what ifs. What if you don't do anything? That's the big question. What if you don't do anything? What if another year goes by and nothing's accomplished? What if 5 years? What if your whole lifetime goes by and nothing is accomplished? That's the what if you better start asking yourself. Get in the business and go out there and screw everything up so you'll learn the business. And sooner or later, you're going to get to the same mindset that I'm at. Just keep going. The housing business will never abandon you because housing will never be abandoned. All right. And the more population, the more we need it. So it's a product that's not going to be a fad. Come here today, gone tomorrow. But it is going to go up and down a little bit. But the way we buy houses today hasn't changed since 1982. It's things within it have changed, but the methods are still the same and they're still working. And quit letting dream stealers fill your head with all the crap. They have no idea what they're even talking about, especially the talking heads on television. Just one repeats the crap. You don't believe that? Watch Fox News, and every show they're repeating the stuff from the last show. All right, get off the soapbox, Jesse. Are we done?
We're done. I think you ended that wonderfully.
All right, guys, I'll see you next week. Don't forget, you can still get into our master class that we're doing for free every Tuesday and Thursday. And you're going to put the link down there for that, Jesse?
I sure will. Go down below and click the link and get started if you haven't already.
We're about in the middle of it now, but you can go back and archive all of the rest of the classes.
You sure
And
can.
also make note that we have a summit coming up in December. You need to put down the dates on that now so you can build around them. It's a 3-day virtual event. And it's free to get in. And Jesse, you got the dates off the top of your head?
We do. December 3rd through the 5th. And you can go ahead and get registered below. We'll have more information as the time comes.
Gonna have a lot of great talent on that event. And I think that's we've got a quick start school coming up now, week after next on the 21st, and here in Jacksonville in our new meeting room. And guys, that thing is half price, and a lot of you who are watching are already graduates. You don't even come back for free. You need to you should come to that every 6 months at least till you get to the point to where you don't really need it anymore. And then you should come back once a year. My most successful students I see at least once a year. And I mean, some of them have been there 5 or 6 times. Get plenty out of it every time. Plus, I'm constantly changing it as well. So other than that, I got a boot camp in LA in November, starting on the 18th. And that probably is going to take you right up through the end of the year. We're going to have next year's calendar out pretty soon. And the Jacksonville boot camp is in January again. So did I miss anything? Anything else they need to know?
I think we are good to go. Got everything covered.
All right. See you guys next week. Get those questions in here. Brian and Tony and Angie aren't the only ones that can ask questions. The rest of you can as well. And also on this master class, you get to put it, send your questions to me at ask@ronlegrand.com, and then we will probably answer them on this Friday thing as well. So participate, guys and gals, participate. You'll learn a lot by asking questions. I know when I started, I was always asking the most questions of anybody in class. Yeah, pissed off a few teachers, but they got over it. All right, see y'all next week.
All right, thank you, Ron.
Thank you, Jesse.